Hello, I'm Scott DuPont with another episode of Finance Your Movie, sharing tips and strategies to help you fund your independent feature, documentary, short film, or web series. Our mission is to empower you to get your money to tell your story. Okay, I'm here with Jose Cassella, very successful cinematographer, director, and editor. Over 1,000 commercial credits. I did not know that, Jose, but we've known each other mainly through your all the films that you've done over the years, and good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is great. Fantastic.
So before we delve into the fundraising aspect, did you see fundraising? We'll get into detail in just a minute, but did you see, as a director and a writer, did you see fundraising as a shortcut or a way to advance or fast track your career? And was this influenced by Robert Rodriguez?
I started with Robert early on. And I think it all comes down to, like, we have an idea, we want to make this thing. And people like, at least like Robert and people like me, and a lot of millions of others like me, it's just, we have to make this happen. So we just go, we have to find ways to make it happen. At the beginning, of course, you try to raise, you go through several stages. At the beginning of your career, so you try to get a little bit of money, try to make it happen with whatever you have. And as you go, you realize that, it's not worth it just making something crappy. It's just you realize you need to raise a little bit more. But I mean, it's a learning process, it's a learning curve. For me, the funding aspect, it was a basic need. It's almost like you're hungry, you gotta eat. So it's kind of like, I gotta make this film. What do I need to do to make this film? I need to raise some money so I can get the equipment, the crew and stuff like that. It's very important that you get the right people. It's not always possible because of money, but I wanna make sure that you have at least something that I can offer people, because they can't just show up for the glory of me. So it's like, it needs to. But of course, like a lot of filmmakers, the first time around, it was kind of like more like it wasn't so much funding. It was more like convincing people, hey, brother, can you come and help me out with this? And you just got to get them infected with that same virus that I have, basically, like that same desire to make this. Get them to come over here and just all work together, Yeah, that was what it was. But the funding, I didn't even think about it. It's almost like, I guess this needs to be done. Because if I don't find funding, I can't make this project happen. I mean, it's simple like that.
So I guess for you, it all started out when a filmmaker and a rich dude walk into a bar. I mean, it literally sounds like a joke.
Yeah, what happened with that?
I want to hear the true behind the scenes about this bet over a beer.
After a long time shooting for other people, I discovered that I really pretty much was kind of directing the thing, because not all the time you find great directors, so you have to kind of like come and save the day. And I got to a point in which I can make a film. I think I waited until I had control of the language. Okay, I know I can make a film now, but how do I go about that? Because for close to a decade, I've been like hired, you do the job and you leave, right? And now it's like, oh shit, I gotta find money to do this. And I was in that process. And I remember I shot a film for an Italian dude, an Italian producer. But he wasn't a producer, he was a writer of some kind. He had like a liquor, he works in the liquor industry or whatever it is. He came here to visit. I had shot a film for someone he knows some years back. And we said hi to each other, and then we kind of lost, contact, whatever. But then I saw him again in Orlando. He was visiting Orlando. And as we started talking.
And this happened in the ale house?
In the ale house, yeah. It was in a bar, and we started getting, like Keith Richards drunk. I mean, like really, really, really drunk. So it's like, and we're laughing and stuff like that, talking about music, which is one of my loves. And suddenly he just kind of went like that. He went like, because he saw some of the stuff that I was doing. I told him that I wanted to make a film. I didn't know what it was at that time.
Yeah.
I just make a film. I didn't even have a script. So it's kind of like, so he kind of went like, well, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you, in his Italian accent, I'm going to give you $5,000 right now. I'm like, get the hell out of here. No. I'm going to give you $5,000 right now. Like right now. He literally takes out his checkbook, everything. Like, right now. And it's like, oh, okay. It's like,
if you can make a film, this is like the bet, right?
With this, and of course, he just did it because he didn't even know how much. I'm sure I should have asked for more money, But I was just drunk too, so I was kind of like, sure. I was kind of like, oh, yo, of course I can. Hell, give me less, I'll even make. I mean, hell, I'll do it. I'll freaking do it. I know. And it's like I was just kind of like, you know, I got enthusiastic about that. I should have. He probably had more money, but just give me that. He didn't know. So it was like he probably didn't know that films cost like this much money. So he gave me $5,000, and I was like, okay, great. If you make this film happen, if you make this, you show me movie. He didn't even care about distribution or anything like that. You show me movie, and then I will call you. I will bring you to Rome, and you can have pasta carbonara with me in Rome at the piazza, at the place.
That's an extra incentive.
Yeah, I'm going like, I was like, Rome? Damn, and I'm Italian. So, my family always offered me, when I was growing up, chances to go back to Italy and visit. I was always like, turn it down because I'm an idiot. So it's like, okay, so this was like a chance to go over there. Like, okay, great. So, but the next thing is like, when you get sober and you just kind of go like, oh man, okay, great. $5,000, wow. And I know by that point I've shot like $1 million spots. I mean, I know that this is like, it's really difficult.
It's a challenge. Oh my God, a whole feature.
But I'm a big fan. I'm a big horror film guy. I grew up, I had a lot of guilty pleasures, what they call now guilty pleasures. A lot of B movies, C movie level movies that I grew up with. And I figured, why don't I just make my own B movie, you know? I try to give it some kind of quality, you know? And I wanted like a simple plot, you know, something that, but I also like you can explore some kind of human emotion, human experience. So I knew a friend of mine that worked in a film school, Full Sail. Matt Nelson is his name, and he was a film instructor. He still is. Great guy. He's a huge guy.
Oh,
huge
so
guy.
so Matt was an instructor. He wasn't just the actor.
I don't know if he was the instructor at that point or not. I can't recall because it's been so long ago. But I know he was around. He must have been in Full Sail because that's the only way I would have seen him. And so he's just a big, massive dude, great guy, just a huge, wonderful, bear man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I thought, well, what about, he's such a nice, delicate, nice, very thoughtful, very nice to people. And I thought, what if he just goes crazy and starts killing people? Just kind of, well, like it was just one of those things. Like, you make a great serial killer because you look like a crazy dude, but you're an angel inside. So that was the genesis of the idea. Making about creating a story about this loner, this guy that everybody picks on, because he's such a just nice guy. But
so $5,000.
Yeah. So
Matt Nelson. How many days later, and what happened with this $5,000 film?
Like when I thought about it, what I just told you, I wrote it down on a napkin. This is like this. So I went home, literally wrote it like in about a couple of days, and then I had it, and I was like, okay, ready. So I just called a bunch of friends. Some of them have become friends for more than 20 years now, and just people that just got infected with that, they got excited about it. It's like, let's just go and make something fun. It's a fun horror film that's not just like a slasher film, but it's kind of like a homage to a lot of little things. And I went to also the film school. I borrowed a few little things. Around that time, 24p cameras that were capable of shooting at 24 frames a second, they were around for a few years before, but now they were available to the public. But there was these crappy little Canon cameras with very little,
The XL2, right?
XL2, which it looked cool, but looking back at it now, man, it's only 720p, that kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't care. It was
24 frames. It had the film look.
Like just excited, 24 frames. So it's like great, and it was really challenging because I only had like 2 lights. And I had a lot of people that wanted to help out. But the one thing that I had, I must say that a lot of people usually don't have, is like I was a studier of film. I have shot for a long time. I knew what it took to like block a scene, to at least, if they don't like, to me, my motto is always like this. They may like it, they might not like it, but they can't deny the craftsmanship. And that's the thing, it's a craft. So you have to deliver. At least, even if they don't like the film, they can't fault. I mean, there's no excuse. Even at $5,000, there is no, even now, there is no, it's even more so today. There's no excuse, because with the technology that we have, I can grab my iPhone right now and shoot something that looks amazing. That looks way better than the camera that I had when I was shooting that first film. So there is no excuse. So my thing is, I designed knowing how to, because I knew how to edit, I knew how to shoot, and I knew how to kind of direct and block a scene. I designed the whole thing to somehow make it happen for $5,000. And everybody just came together, like my then wife, which was my best friend. We helped cook, and my friends came in, even a producer that you and I know, Melissa Gruber.
Yeah, great.
That was her first thing. That was
was she a producer on that?
No, she was the actress in that.
That's right.
she gets killed. You're one of the people that gets killed. And the thing about it, but that kind of started her thing, her career. And in fact, everybody, pretty much 95% of that crew went on to bigger and greater things. In fact, even bigger than me. You know, so that was like a nice, every film that I've made, for some reason, it has been a starting point for a lot of people.
So you know, I got to interject here. I think the way I heard about the film, it was either you or Melissa at an FMPTA meeting said, and I had heard that the bet was for $10,000.
No, it was $5,000. God,
so I heard that you were screening the movie at the Aloma Cinema and Draft House. So I came out 2 weeks later to see the theatrical premiere of this film, just to see how crappy it looked. That's the reason I came out. And honestly, I told you this before, I was blown away.
No, and it is funny because and it was 5. I wish I could have used 10. I could have really used 10. And everybody else, you know, I try to give them big hugs and like I try to treat them really nice. Luckily, we were able to make a little bit of money to actually can pay the crew. But it was like the theaters. I mean,
you got a distribution deal from.
You got to take it out there and like please show it on this theater. What happened was the actor of the film, Matt Nelson, once the film was done and edited, I went and showed the Italian guy. I won the bet. He took me to Rome for a few days. It was great, right? But I was kind of like, and then we just left it at that. Everybody enjoyed it, and that's it. And suddenly, the actor of the film is the actor or the actress. I think it was Tara Cardinal, the actress. I think somebody sent the actual disc, the DVD that I made, and I was excited because oh my god, I made a DVD, you know, back in the beginnings of the DVD. And somebody sent it to a company called Polychrome. And Polychrome Pictures had a deal with Warner Brothers at that time.
Yeah.
And so what happened was they sent it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers really liked it. And they kind of went like, they called me up and went like, you know, we would like to release this film. And I was kind of like,
wow.
I thought it was a joke or what? And of course, I signed a deal that was just complete crap. So they ended up making most of the money. But it wasn't about that. It was like,
but you got it out there. You got a couple 100,000 units on your first order.
Yeah, I was just excited that the logo was going to be in front of the film. And it's kind of funny because the logo is about maybe like 5 times more expensive than the film. I think it's hysterical. I mean, I always say like, you know, this is the first film in history that the logo of the studio is more expensive than the movie. And no, they did a great job. They gave us posters and we were able to go to conventions and stuff like that. Matt Nelson, the actor was telling me about, he won Best Actor in Screamfest. And everybody, and it's still used. I think the film is still utilized as a drinking game in a lot of colleges in the East Coast, because it was just it's a character study for the first hour, and then the second half is just basically like, okay, just everybody dies basically.
Well, you did a great job, man. I think that kind of was a pattern I see for your entire career now, 15 or 20 years later, is you know how to extract just incredible pearls on the screen, magic out of the screen for next to no money.
That's the thing. That's where it comes down to for me. And I've been lucky enough that I work with some great directors and some bad directors too. I'm grateful for all that, because at the end of the day, you can have a great script, you can have the best crew in the world, but at the end of the day, it's like David Fincher said, you have 1 hour before the sun goes away, and you have like to do like 8 shots you need to do. Make it work. And you're not going to get the 8 shots. You're probably going to get maybe 3. So you have to figure out. But since I was a kid, since I was a kid, I would look at films in a different way. I would look at how things were made. It's like, okay, how did they get that light like that? How is he cutting like this? This director versus the other director. Okay, this director's like this, and he does it like that. And now this other director likes to do it more like this. So that's why I always say to people, like, just don't watch Netflix all day. Just like go ahead and just, because they are a corporation. And basically everything kind of seems like it looks the same. It's almost like a factory.
Yeah.
So everything has to look great for portable devices and all that stuff. And I understand it as a business. So it's like a Ford company. It's like a car company. We're going to release cars. And we have these 50 different cars, but they all kind of seem like to look the same.
Yeah, it's like a factory.
You have to go out there. And the best directors on the planet, both in commercials and in movies and stuff like that, they all have one thing in common. They didn't go to film school. They went to films, like Tarantino says. And basically, you have to study this film, so you have to study the best. And that's what kind of helped me then with that film, which by the way is called Delivery. And it helped me ever since. It's just kind of like,
Let's jump into one of your next films, Second Coming. Much bigger budget.
Well, it was much bigger budget on paper. I like a lot of people will discover their careers. You find producers that are basically sometimes not the most honest people. And what I found out, it was he raised $500,000, but in reality, I got to use about 150,000 of them.
Wow.
I was told I had 150, which I'm fine. Listen, to me.
Well, you got the movie made.
Yeah, I got it.
So how did that fundraising come about?
Well, what happened was it says again, I had a script and ready to make another one, and I started inquiring. I started looking around on the internet. I was talking to people, and then a friend that I knew, someone that knew this producer from Honduras, which is it's a nice guy. It was his first time producing, so I don't blame him. He actually had access to funding from his country, and he said to me, like, I can bring in about $100,000, and I figured, yeah. So wow. I tailored the script for about $100,000. Okay, so that's it. I did not know that later on there's some other people within the circle, not him, but in his circle, were utilizing the film to raise more money, but for themselves. But I wasn't part of that thing, so I just concentrated on what I was given, which is $100,000.
Yeah. So you got the money. That's the bottom line. And that film went on to get picked up by Universal.
Yeah, Universal picked it up, and it did fine. In fact, a nice little note. We screened that film, and I was never really satisfied with that film, but you can win them all. But we screened that film in the Directors Guild theater in Los Angeles, and
oh wow,
yeah, I mean it was it just happened, right? And Harvey Weinstein was in another room, and he came at the last 20 minutes of the film. He went in, and I was standing there. I didn't really I kind of recognized him as his brother from the Rodriguez days, but I didn't know Harvey really that well. But and then somebody told me, like, hey, that's Harvey Weinstein, because back then Harvey was God, basically.
Yeah.
So he actually was really nice. He was really sweet, and he actually told me, like, he saw a little bit, like about 5 minutes, and went like, kid, you have it. Come and talk to me, whatever. At least like he gave me a card or something like that. And that was that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So that was pretty cool. And because I just, unfortunately, I got involved right after that in a bunch of work. I mean, I had to support I had like multiple people that needed to support my mom, my girlfriend, and this and that, all this kind of stuff. So I had to take a lot of these jobs. It kept me kind of entertained for a couple of years. And so I kind of lost contact with Harvey, but it's like, but hey, now he's in jail. So, but yeah, that was the experience with Second Coming. Second Coming taught me one thing: not to make compromises. In a sense, like there was a catch with the actual film and the funding. I didn't have full control, and the casting was the wrong cast. I mean, the lead, as wonderful as she is, she's a wonderful actress and everything else, but she wasn't the right person for the part. And you can see it in the film. Everything else works except the lead. So, and I kind of went like, okay, because that's one thing about filmmakers that would tell everybody, please, I would tell everybody this: do not despair. Don't fall temptation to like, it's okay. If they go away, they go away. You'll have another opportunity. Don't do that, because I've seen a lot of people just like me, but I've seen a lot of people do the same thing: compromise, and then they get screwed.
Yeah, especially on an independent film. I mean, that's going to be your life if you get into the studio system, which I don't even know if it's going to exist anymore. But if you're doing it independent, that's one of the whole reasons. You should have control as a director.
No, not even that, but know that at least trust your gut, because it's kind of like if it feels wrong, it's wrong. So it's like, say something, because this might be the last time you do this.
Yeah.
I promised.
True.
So like, this is the last time. And I did that, ironically, after that. I listened to my instincts.
Luckily for you, it was not the last time. I've got to take a quick break here, because I do want to come back and hear a few more stories about how you funded your next films. Okay, we'll be right back. Click below to see the next episode of Jose Casella. We'll be right back.